Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Spectrum here, and we're in 2026, which is, another year's gone by. 2025's over. I didn't get to do one of these in December. I tried, and I didn't really get far with it, but we're gonna try our best here. No script, nothing to go off of, just kind of speaking from just what comes to mind. If I miss something, it is what it is, but I think I'm going to try and tackle everything I can. Kind of keep my voice down a little bit. It's late at night. But yeah, we've gone through 2025. It's kind of been a weird year, right? Moved myself across the country, started doing things for myself, and, just starting to just figure out what the heck I'm doing, because as soon as I moved out here, a lot of things changed, and with those changes came complications that I had to figure out, among a bunch of other things that just went on as the months went by. So I think it's kind of clear that I've not been consistent musically. I've been very slow for the most part. I haven't dropped a whole lot of stuff, and I think I've hit a lot of burnout when it comes to kind of not just my own music, but mostly I've just kind of hit burnout in the way that the music scene has become oversaturated, and I could continue making music, but the problem is I've kind of had a struggle mentally that I will always end up making something that somebody else has already done recently, and it sucks when you're not only an artist but also someone who actively listens to music from independent artists and even big name artists on labels. And it all, the more songs you listen to, the more oversaturated your brain becomes as an artist. It becomes a little harder to try and find originality for yourself. At least that's what happened with me. So I didn't really drop a whole lot of music in 2025. I did a little bit of stuff throughout the months, here and there, nothing too crazy. It was more focused on taking care of other things. But the main thing here is that I have been working on this album, and I can comfortably say that the album is pretty much ready to be mixed. I just need to kind of figure out what I'm doing with one more song. Trying to figure out what needs to be added to it. Something's missing, and I don't know how I want to go about finishing this song. Lyrically, it's done. It's just, it's missing some atmosphere that I don't know if I'm going to be able to add myself. I might need to outsource, or I might need to figure something out. But otherwise, the album is done. And with the album being done, we can kind of get into what this album means for me. Because this album was supposed to drop sometime in the first 6 months of 2025. It was not supposed to be this long before I finished the album. And the reality is there a version of this album could have been done at the end of 2024, but I went about some things wrong. I, played my hand, went too far, financially kind of screwed up, but yeah, plus a bunch of other stuff happened. Thought I was going to get a feature. I didn't end up getting the feature. Instead, another opportunity kind of followed its place. I'm hoping I still end up getting a feature of some sort, but it's no longer on the album, so I'm not really worried about it. So, with all that said, this album essentially was supposed to be the turning point for the next step in my life. And this album is titled The Problem. It's obviously a part of the three project giant mega project titled Breakdown, where if you noticed, I titled the new version, the first album, The Fall, with the colons, and now this one's called The Problem. And at some point in the future, there will be a third and final project to the story that kind of wraps everything up and determines whether or not my life has been worth living and what ends up becoming of my life after all these years. So part 3 of this album isn't coming out anytime soon. It's going to be coming out way down the line. But this project is essentially me kind of coming to terms with myself that I need to stop being the problem. I need to stop. It sounds cliche, but it's kind of the truth that I've kind of caused issues for a lot of things in my life, and so I've just decided to come to terms with that. And so by doing so, I created this project that allows me to accept the fact and move forward from it. And once I do that fully, I can then start focusing on the next step, which is getting myself fully together so that I can be happy and go through life like any other normal human being would, you know? So that's kind of the gist of all that here, and I didn't want to ramble on too long about it, but it is what it is. So the album's getting done. In terms of music, I have some stuff I do want to drop, which I do have a track coming out this Friday. I'm hoping to drop this tonight or tomorrow, just as a quick little one-off. But I do have a track coming out. It's Beyond the Spectrum 3. I don't know if I'm going to make the project for Beyond the Spectrum 3. I think it's just going to be a single for now. And then maybe if I kind of have everything together, I'll drop an EP for it. But until then, it's just a single, just something to kind of get me back in the booth real quick, kind of remind people that, hey, I'm still here, and I'm still kind of cooking with gas a little bit, you know? I've been working in a lot of different places. I've been trying to network myself. I've been kind of dabbling in a couple of other areas, making some friends, doing what I feel like I should be doing, you know? Just trying not to be a loner is pretty much my goal. The goal is to kind of make friends and network and have fun, you know, be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. So that way I can look back on myself 5 years from now and just, you know, be like, see where I've grown and how far I've come from where I am now. So it's definitely going to be a process, and I'm still figuring things out, but we are getting there slowly but surely. So I've kind of come to terms with a lot of other stuff. Book of Rhyme Cypher, unfortunately, is no longer. I do not feel like I need to talk about it much. It's just things clearly weren't ever going to work out. It was always going to end up becoming a one-man show, even with the help I would get. So I figure, well, I don't have the means to do a cipher and an album. So I'm going to focus on the album because that is something that I can use to, push myself to people. Whereas the cipher would be good for networking. I need to push myself first before I can network myself with other people. I'm still networking, I'm still doing things in other communities, but I'm not really kind of headlining them. So, but that's not happening, so I apologize to all of the entrants who we chose for the cipher. I do apologize if there was any misconstrued communication of any sort. I just kind of figured not a lot of people wanted to kind of stay on board with it after a while, and it felt like it kind of fell on deaf ears after a few months. So I figured might as well just kind of cut it all, drop it, and call it a day. So I'm hoping to still be able to work with a lot of these people, and I still obviously do with a few of you guys, but I'm hoping that this cipher doesn't create problems. I'm hoping to just kind of move on and figure out things another way. So beyond that, started streaming again loosely, and I want to continue to do so because I kind of just like streaming when I get the chance. I haven't done so in a couple months. I started playing a game, and then I finished it. At least the main story. Could have went further. Decided to do it off stream, and now I'm trying to figure something else out. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to kind of set a day to stream that I can at least do consistent streams. Maybe hour and a half, 2 hours every week. And then if I feel like streaming any extra days, I'll just go ahead and do it. But I do want to get back into that. Don't think there's anything else I really need to talk about. There were some things that did come up, but I'm kind of trying to drop any drama and issues. There are opinions that I have on people that I have voiced, and I don't think I need to say them here, but I do kind of wish things happen differently than how they are, and that's kind of all I'll say there. Beyond that, though, I'm kind of living my best life, or the best life that I can, going through it day by day, because that's all I can do. So, yeah. In terms of what happens after this album, will I be dropping any music in between now and the album, which I should probably mention, I plan to drop in June. I think it'd be the best time to do it, halfway through the year. Kind of get everything together for it, so that way I can figure something out with it. So it is going to drop sometime in June. It's getting mixed and mastered, getting it all done. I don't know if I'm going to drop any other tracks personally between now and the album. There might be a couple that I just kind of throw out there, but I think I've dropped everything I wanted to drop off the album. So maybe one more thing, but I kind of want to keep it safe, especially since I added a couple previous tracks that I'd already released last year onto the album, just because they fit, like, magically. So, it is what it is. But beyond that, like I said, I'm just here kind of living my best life, taking things one day at a time. I'm always open to collaborate. I'm always open to make music and do things. My feature price, obviously, as long as it passes the vibe check, I'm all cool. I'm always down to work. It just needs to be the right vibe at the right time, and I gotta be able to make something work with it. So, but there's a lot of other cool things happening, one of which I can't say anything about publicly yet, but I am excited to kind of be a part of it, so stay tuned for that. I'll definitely have an announcement for it, and more likely than not, I will probably end up doing something else as well for it. But other than that, just kind of, I appreciate everybody who's kind of stuck with me. I know I've been very slow, but I'm working on a lot of different things. I'm trying to get into new areas and, you know, get my feet wet in a couple different activities and learn some stuff. It's a process, and I just kind of need to push myself to do something. So I appreciate everybody who stuck with me. I promise the music's not going anywhere. It's gonna slow down for a bit, as once this album drops, it's pretty much gonna be on my time. So beyond that, I think that's about it. I don't think I really need to talk about anything else. I think I covered everything. A couple other things I don't really need to talk about. So appreciate you guys again. Happy 2026 to all of you people out there. I have been thankful to still be around and, you know, continue living life the way I can. So Beyond the Spectrum 3 comes out this Friday. Thank you guys again. Maybe I'll play a little bit of a snippet for you guys at the end of this, but stay tuned, guys. Until next time, it's been your boy Spectrum, and I will see you guys. Peace.
Why isn't tomorrow promised tonight? Why is it every day I procrastinate when I know others are doing it right? Why is it every time I refuse to believe that I'm dope when I get on a mic? Why can't I recognize that another year's gone by and I still ain't doing what I like? Made a promise to myself this year I was gonna put in work. Day by day, dropped many days off, couldn't take off, so I reversed. Thought I could hold it back long enough and aim for the throne like my mind had rehearsed, but I was so paranoid, so I put it off.